Good evening, everybody. My name is Jane Golden, and, I want to welcome everyone here tonight for a special evening where we are celebrating the Viaduct and the stories behind it. This is a remarkable project, an incredibly huge endeavor, and I want to thank DHDC in particular. I want to thank the wonderful Melissa Long and Mark Dodds and Portia Egan for helping to bring this vision to fruition. We are really lucky to be in a city where we have 4,000 murals that grace the sides of buildings everywhere and hundreds of artists employed every year. Yay, artists. And I think artists are like the backbone of our society. So I really applaud DHDC for thinking of us. We have loved every minute of working with the community. It's been a really robust process, and you'll hear that tonight. It's very multi-layered and nuanced and really quite extraordinary. And I think if you think for a minute about the collection of murals in our city, they address a range of issues from the personal to the political, from the lyrical to the urgent, to the celebratory, to the activists. And in their diversity of tone and aesthetics and intent, these projects see the public landscape as a place for public speech and representation, where individual and collective thought, personal desire, social action all overlap and underscore each other and rhyme across the city, filling our public spaces with evidence of public participation and, of course, images of beauty and hope, something that our world needs now more than ever. So I am so grateful to everybody who was involved in this huge endeavor. I'm thrilled that we're continuing to do the work because if there was ever a time we need art, it is now. We always say at Mural Arts that art ignites change, but that change happens because wonderful citizens across our city believe in it. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. And now I would like to introduce Victoria Boyer, our program and event manager. Victoria.
Thank you, Jane. Hello, friends of Mural Arts. We are thrilled to have you here this evening. As Jane said, there are thousands of murals around Philadelphia, and so many people come each year to come see them. But that glimpse of that artwork does not show you all of the work that really goes into it from behind the scenes. And tonight we're going to be highlighting the Viaduct, a project done by our community murals team. And we're going to hear from muralists Andrea Legg, Priscilla Bell, Patrick Doer, and photographers John Noble and Sean Theodore, community members Susan Hamlin-Smith, George Clark, and Joy Krudrup. These people were integral to this project, and now we get to hear about their experiences. So to start us off, we are going to be discussing the mural that you'll be able to find at 10th and Susquehanna, Our Neighborhood, Growth, Unity, Abundance, and Love. To start us off, I would like to introduce Andrea Legg. Oh, Priscilla Bell, my apologies.
No, that's okay. Thank you, Victoria. Yeah, so this is a picture of one side of our mural. Here, my partner in crime, Anthony Sepper-Tarcasio, is up there spray painting. And this mural was really important, especially for me, being born and raised in North Philadelphia. It really hit home and trying to convey the resilience and the beauty of my old neighborhood. My mother used to work right up the street, actually right on the corner at the hanger factory. So, you know, it was very pivotal for us to work with the community and find out what the community would like through our engagements that we had at Penrose Recreation Center, and I met some really wonderful people. So it was a really wonderful experience and a joy to work in the neighborhood this summer. Definitely. And this is one of our community engagement projects here. This was the mosaic planters. We had these little ceramic planters that we had community members. It was kind of like a drop-in where they came through, and you saw folks of all ages. You saw youth, you saw little ones, you saw the older folks that came in, and we had them place like these ceramic pieces and applied them with the cement.
And John Noble was the one who was the photographer for this event. So John, if you'd like to say a few words.
Yes, how's it going, everybody? I just want to thank you all for also just bringing me onto this project. It was a blast the entire time. Got to meet a lot of new faces, and would love to work with them again. This event specifically was very fun because I was essentially just trying to catch everyone just like really like focused on their work, and even though like a lot of them were like, let's say, not like experienced in doing something like this, they're all like incredibly focused on it, and then you can kind of see that in the pictures that I took. The and then all the, from the kids to the adults, everyone was like, it was like a blast to really like just interact with too, because they were all just excited as I was.
And they were just filing in, just coming in throughout the nights. We actually had this over several nights, and they were having a really good time, just like John mentioned. So we have one of our participants here this evening with the planter. And everybody that finished a planter was able to get a seed packet to support, because this happened in, I think, February. So it was still winter months, but we were looking forward to spring. We were looking forward to having this mural. So this was a really wonderful activity.
And Joy, I know that you were present at the Susquehanna Center for this workshop and others. Would you be able to speak on your experience a little?
Actually, that's me on the picture.
Oh. Who's the other one with you?
That's my goddaughter's son. Yeah, that's my little fella. Yeah. So actually that experience doing the pottery was really fun. I enjoyed making the planter because I think I may have told her, like, I don't have a green thumb at all, but I was like, okay, this is motivation for me to at least try it this year. So I have used it. I put an aloe plant in there. So I was able to plant an aloe plant, and it's sitting out in my yard. So it did get to use. As far as the mural, actually that same night I was taking pictures. I try to do a little bit of photography, but I was taking pictures the night that we were doing the planters, and throughout the artist doing a mural on 10th and Susquehanna, I went down there a few nights and took a few pictures. They even let my little daughter, they allowed her to help them paint a little. And the mural that they did plant, prior to them painting the murals, we had it set up in the recreation center where we were able to choose. We voted on what murals we would like to have put up. And I remember speaking with the muralist, and I told her I love this one. It's something about sunflowers that I really love. And I actually voted for that mural to be put up. As a member of the community, I would say it was a great event. It was a great experience for us to have input on the mural, because it made us feel like, with all the gentrification that's going on, it made us feel like we were part of what was going on in our neighborhood. It wasn't like you all just came in and said, this is what we're going to do, whether you like it or not. You allowed us to participate. And from a social work standpoint, when you allow people to participate in their growth and development, it makes them feel better about the outcome. So I would say that I feel great about the outcome. The mural is beautiful, and thank you all for wanting to do it.
Thank you so much, Joy. Thank you. I remember speaking to you that night,
Yes.
and actually so I really, really appreciated your input. And we actually added more sunflowers
Okay.
because of it, because sunflowers are dear to me too. So growing up, always seeing that in the neighborhood, and the resilience of the sunflowers just growing anywhere, and just reminds me of the resilience of the people of the neighborhood.
Yes, exactly. Resiliency, that's key. And I mean, I would say that's what a lot of my neighbors and myself, that's what we are in this neighborhood. We're resilient.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Up next, we are going to move to Diamonds in the Rough, the mural that you can find at 10th and Diamond. And this time, Andrea, this is your cue. I'm going to have you start. Let me go backwards a little bit and tell us a little bit about the overview for the mural.
Thank you very much, Victoria. First of all, I might not get another chance to do this, so I'd like to thank the Diamond Street community for their willing collaboration in this huge undertaking and for so enthusiastically sharing their lives with us for this mural. I'd also like to thank Mural Arts for inviting us to be a part of the Under the Viaduct project in the first place, and especially to Sean and John for creating so many great images for us to work with. And last but not least, I'd like to thank Kian Guen and our crew of amazingly talented artists that actually got our designs onto the wall. So the Diamonds in the Rough mural concept was inspired by conversations with community members, including one in which community member Linda Clark described themselves as diamonds in the rough. And that immediately presented itself as a title and a theme for this mural. The mural is comprised of many layers and elements, not just paint. We have diamond motifs in various textures and materials, including traditional mural paint, metallic paint, reflective paint sprayed with glass bead, and also mirror polished stainless steel tiles. And all of this is applied directly to the existing rough walls of the underpass, which we did not just whitewash over. We left the rough walls to show through. So along with the diamond motifs, painted vignettes reference the local community's own community building themes, focusing on the principles of family, spirituality, school, and community. Each theme is illustrated on a different wall of the underpasses. We have 5 walls, 2 underpasses, 5 walls, 6,000 square feet of wall, and the rough walls of the underpasses are allowed to show through. Each series of vignettes is comprised of content collected directly from the community during 4 events hosted by Mural Arts Philadelphia during Black History Month in February of 2020. At these events, stories, histories, keepsakes, and images were gathered from the community for possible use in the mural. As well, portraits were taken especially for the project by artists Sean Theodore and John Noble. With the exception of one group portrait of the 8th and Diamond Advisory Board, individual personalities are not represented on the mural per se. Instead, with the community's permission, portraits taken of the members were cast into roles within each vignette to help to fully illustrate each of the community building themes. It is my hope that this mural will stand as a monument to this community going forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Andrea. And the photographs we are going to take a look at for this, the first few are of and by, well, some of them are by Sean Theodore. Sean?
This one's John's work, but I have to give him credit for being able to capture some really profound moments for me. And, you know, John, I think this was our first time meeting, and there was a really great chemistry there. And that chemistry, I have to say, started out with the community, just how they welcomed us in and how they, you know, just wanted to see the greatest accomplishments from each time that we met. So first and foremost, I want to say thank you to Mural Arts Thank you to all the families down and around Diamond Street. Andrea, you were fantastic. I love working with you. And the one thing I wanted to bring up that I forgot to tell a lot of folks is that I went to high school at 13th and Susquehanna. And, I'm from West Oak Lane. My dad's from West Philly, but pretty much my whole personality comes from being in and around Diamond Street and in hanging out all throughout Susquehanna and all around that way. And I found something. I found some of my first photos from back in '88 when I was 18. I took these at right around, I think this is Park in Susquehanna, and this is in the schoolyard there. So even my career, I owe to that whole neighborhood. So when I talk about this project being a true labor of love, I earnestly mean it. And for me to give back any part of the talent that was born inside of this neighborhood, to bring it back, to show my people, my Philadelphians, my Black folks, I love y'all. So I'm just letting you know, when you see me doing these photos, like almost every one of these shots, there's a smile on my face. And it really is one of these things that I'm really proud as a Philadelphian and as your neighbor and as part of your extended family. I really appreciate the opportunity that you gave me.
Thank you, Sean. Yeah, John, this was great capturing Sean taking the photographs as well, so we get to see behind the scenes.
Yeah, I was yeah, when I met Sean, like it was, I don't know, I was I mean, just kind of like, and this is a little bit of like praise for Sean, like I haven't met anyone who was kind of just so like kind of who just flowed so well in terms of their work and everything. Like it's kind of like when you're running and then like you're able to have a conversation while you're running. And I feel like with Sean, that's how it was when he was shooting. It was kind of like, hey, like I mean, I've been doing this for a while, man. Like I mean, this is me, and I thought that was awesome to just feel that way. So I was really like, it really like just pushed me to like to take some more pictures of him, because I know like as a photographer, a lot of time you're behind the camera, not in front of it.
And that chemistry between people is vital. Go ahead, Sean.
I just wanted to say, yeah, he definitely captured some things I wasn't ready to see, and I try every now and again to get some of this kind of good behind the scenes stuff, but this is a pro shooting your behind the scenes stuff, so I was just moved to see a lot of these new. I haven't seen all these, so some of the things that I've been seeing, I'm like, man, John, you're holding back on me, man. And I just gotta thank you, man. We definitely had to continue what we started here, and maybe come back to the neighborhood and do a few more things, as the project matures.
Well, when you do, let us know, so we could also post those too. And Susan, I would love for you to speak a little bit about your community engagement at this location.
Excuse me, I didn't hear you.
I would love for you to speak a little bit about the community engagement here at the Diamond location.
Well, first of all, I just wanted to thank everybody that partook in helping us get this mural done. And the engagement with the community, like we have different things go on in the community, and we try to keep everybody involved. So when we had those dinners, it wasn't hard getting people to come in and participate, take pictures, and be part of this event. And like the gentleman was saying, that it's a monument for us, and we really appreciate it.
Susan, could you tell us a little bit more about the dinners that were had and the community that was there and what took place at those dinners?
Yeah, we had a couple dinners at the school, and then we had, I believe, the last one we had at the Midtown Parish. So I wasn't in some of those pictures, but I was at the Midtown Parish, and it was like a meet and greet for us to meet the people that were going to do the mural and the people of the community that came and to see what was going, what we were about to take part in, and everybody was just enthused, and that's why those pictures are on that's on the mirror are so captivating and so exciting. It's like people walk around here now where we had trash and all that stuff under the bridge or whatever. But now we're able to look at a live event is like where we just walk around and we see all of that. And it's just so much love right there. And a lot of those people have some of the older people on there have passed on. My son is up there with me and my husband holding him. He was killed back in '95, and I tried every way I could to get his picture up on the wall, and now it's up on the wall. So that's very dear to me. And it's the lady up top, Miss Sally Deitches. She was like the warrior of our community. Whatever we needed, she would always go to the city and get it. She would fight for us. She protest for us. And to have her up on that wall is definitely an honor. We have Ms. Gowdy, who's still with us. She's our treasurer of our advisory council. She's well up in her age, but she still participates in whatever events that we have. She's still on the advisory council. It's a lot of different people on there that are seniors. We have the Clark mother up there. So her boys are instrumental in whatever we do in the community. We just have a lot of life on that wall right now. Even with the people being deceased, it's like we could walk and see them now and talk to them, and that's amazing.
Thank you so much, Susan. That was really beautiful. And I love that the photos of the community members were integrated into this project as well.
Yes.
George, I'd love to hear from you and your experience with this location and the community engagement.
Yes, again, good evening, and it's an honor just to be, on this event tonight, and I'm just truly blessed to be able to just hear what I've heard so far. I mean, even at the picture that you see right now, that's actually, my mother, who is an elder, her Mrs. Gowdy and Miss Deitches. This is over 70 years of history, and for them, to be able to lay the foundation in which we are able to live and pass on in terms of history, it's so important to our community. And I just want to first and foremost just thank the Mural Arts program, the photographers, Andrea and Sean and John and all of you, because, I think what we were able to bear witness to with the love of being able to put this project together where it's a legacy. You're looking at the picture again of, my mother, my sister, and, my niece, but, they say it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a family. And so you have some awesome families that, Sister Susan talked about. And I think this is the beauty of being able to see the pictures come into chapters and to see chapters become a book. And what we're hoping is that, through what we see the beauty of the murals being created, we're able to tell the stories that are so important in terms of us being able to see our community be revitalized. You're looking at the galleries right now, and these are all elders and matriarchs, that is so important that our young people and our children get a chance to hear and listen to. But I think it all works together for the good. And so because of the love of, the artists and Andrea and everyone who was a part of it, we have something now that when she talked about a memorial, this is key. You're looking at Mr. Dana Clark, who is the Eighth and Diamond Recreation Director. You know what I mean? And I just can only tell you, that back in the 1950s and 1956 and 55, when that area was pretty much predominantly, people who, were Irish, people of different ethnic backgrounds. And, we were probably like some of the first African Americans to move into the community in the early 50s. And so to see what it is today, I think pictures tell a story. And I think what was created is because of you. And so we humbly, thank you that we're able to have not only this mural, but, as Sean was saying, just the love of what was created through photography, through audio visuals, through, imagination. And I'm pretty sure that this is bringing healing to our land. It's bringing healing to our community. And I don't want to be long-winded because I think it's just something that I will always cherish. But what you're seeing is again, beauty right before your eyes. And the people that you see are all the ones who created it. And so it's no one particular person, I think is what we've labored over the years. And hopefully we can now, let the beauty of these murals be spoken to the young children where they have hope to realize that they too are a part of this. So I just want to again thank all of you, and for what you have done. And I'm just hoping that these pictures can turn into chapters that can turn into a story, that we can just leave as a legacy for our community. So I just want to thank you. And that's our advisory council. I mean, they say many are called, but few are chosen, but the people who you see, is really the nucleus. And I just want to personally thank the advisory council, for all that we have done and will continue to do. We're looking forward to our new facility, coming back up. And so just let's stay connected, let's stay together. But all the hard work goes out to the advisory council, and a special shout out to Millicent, who was very instrumental in the pictures and, choreographing everything. And so without, like I say, her and Susan and Marjorie and Marlisa and Dana, the advisory council, it wouldn't have been done. So I just thank them for first and foremost, and all of you who helped make this project possible. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sean, and all of you for giving your insights in the background and the history of your neighborhood. These are the things that we don't get to learn just from seeing it on the wall. And these stories are so important. And speaking of history, up next we're going to move to the mural that is at 10th and Norris, History in the Present Moment, I Am. And I'm going to invite Patrick to say a few words about the mural concept.
Peace, everyone. My name is Patrick. It is such an honor and a blessing to be here and to hear everyone. I wasn't expecting to be as moved as I am. I'm really, my heart is just brimming. Thank you for everyone that spoke about their projects. And, I have to follow Brother George. That's difficult because he really laid it down, everything he said, and Susan and Sean and everyone. I have so much identification. And like I said, I'm so moved. This project was an absolute honor and a blessing. I'm just kind of echoing so much what everyone else said. The folks that are represented on the walls are people that are from the community. We took reference pictures at a community event held at a church just a couple of blocks from Norris Street. So actually, the pictures that we just saw, I was seeing so many faces that were familiar, and actually some of the folks that were in the previous pictures actually ended up being represented in this mural in a composite way. So for example, Brother George, I think you said that was your niece. And if you look on the left on this picture, that's her. We took a picture of her that day, and she worked her, and we used her as a reference for a queen in this mural. And then on the far left, not in this picture, there was another elder who we just saw a picture of, who was represented, and again in a composite way. So we didn't want to necessarily make it about individual folks, but we wanted people to be representative of the community. When I went out to that community engagement, that event, I was struck with the beauty, the dignity, the generosity, the spirituality, the divine nature, the royalty and integrity of the folks there. There was an underlying feeling of love and joy. And so I asked that day about what folks would want to see on the wall, and I got a lot of information and feedback. And then I asked if I could take some pictures to use as references. And I if I got 10 pictures, I would have felt like it was a success. But folks were so open that I ended up walking away that day with probably about 100 pictures. And when so I partner on this project with Josh Titus, who is a master muralist. It was an honor to work with him. He's worked with mural arts for many years. He's done, I don't know how many murals around Philly. When we sat down to look at the photos that I took that day, certain words kept coming up, just naturally. And those words were just what I said earlier: dignity, integrity, beauty, boldness, strength, royalty, divinity. And out of those words and those feelings, we were able to create the design. We wanted to call attention. Now, when I asked those folks that I could take their pictures, I didn't pose them. I didn't tell them how to pose, but naturally, there was such a bearing that came through in these pictures. The tilt of the head, holding your shoulders high. There was this dignity and royalty and this divinity. So we wanted to give honor and homage to that. And then there's this, recognizing all murals are site specific. Under that viaduct was very dark and a bit foreboding. And so we wanted to consciously make it bright and inviting. And we know that there's a tradition in our community of wearing your Sunday best and, wearing your brightest and boldest colors when you're going to parties and ceremonies. And this is a tradition that goes back to Africa. And so we wanted to draw that connection while at the same time giving a visual boldness, brightening the space. So what we're looking at is only a really small portion of the wall. It is 6,000 square feet. There's two sides. There are actually 3 themes in the mural. The overall title we came up with, and these words for the title were directly taken from conversations we have with folks in the community. So history in the present moment is the overall theme, but this side we called procession, with the idea of, parades, processions of royalty. The other side, also the day that I went out to this community event, there were a lot of children, elders, and so on. And the children were playing street games. And it struck me that, that's unfortunately, we're losing a lot of that culture. And so we wanted to pay homage to street culture and street games. So the other side of that mural is called Portals of Play in Progress. So they're young people playing. Unfortunately, we don't have a picture of that. And these are some photos that were taken at a different community event where we had folks from the community. We gave them the opportunity to dress in royal garb and take photos in front of what was a halo. And again, we didn't pose anyone. We didn't ask them to pose in any way. This is how they naturally represented themselves with such beauty and grace. So I'm sure I've spoken way too much, but I, again, just want to express what a blessing and honor it's been to work in North Philly and on Norris Street in particular.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Patrick. And I'd love to invite John to come back and speak about his experience with these while I have a few more pictures to show that you've taken.
Yes. So with these shots, I came in a little unprepared. I'm not gonna lie, but I want to thank Patrick, and everyone there who had essentially an idea of what they wanted. So I mean, the backdrop was all set up by them prior to me being there. and then I made a little adjustments here and there. And then like, and for some reason, it was a perfect time of day because like there was a window. I mean, to the left of everyone, there's a window right there, and that's where and it was a nice big light source. I mean, that was really flooding in and just gave these really great shots. And I was able to like go in there and then we just like kind of do little micro edits. I mean, before we printed them off, and then the best part, and what was my favorite part, was that like everyone here got prints of of their photos, and I'm like, wow, like I mean, they get to really like. I mean, I love my favorite thing about photography is printing, even though I don't do enough of it myself. But whenever someone gets to like have a physical copy of it, especially now in this digital world, it's like it's apparently surreal now because it's like it's so rare for it in most cases. But like, yeah, everyone here, I mean, everyone here was they had joy just dressing up and getting in front of the camera and just being themselves. And and that's what I like about it. It's just that everyone here, every shot is different. Every shot is was like had to be set up a specific way for that person, and they brought their own essence to it as well.
Wonderful. Thank you all so much for your insights, your background, and John, that honesty of sometimes we don't show up perfectly prepared, and that's okay, but things work out as they're supposed to. And look at these shots. They're just proof of that. They're stunning. At this time, I'm going to invite our guests, both on Facebook and in our Zoom webinar, to drop any questions that you may have for any of our participants into the Q&A, and we are going to go through those now. I'm just getting a bunch of love right now in the Q&A for all of you. People are absolutely adoring the work. Let's see. While we're waiting for the questions to come in, does anyone have any comments that they didn't get to make and would like to make?
I wanted to thank everyone again. It's just I'm like overwhelmed, so I don't know. I thank everybody that helped us get this on the walls, and we are praying to do something else. We have a new wall coming up. Our playground is being renovated, so we hope that we'll be able to get something done with that.
Thank you, Susan. We have a question that has come in. How did you communicate the need for portraits, and how did you recruit people? Don't be shy. Anyone who is part of this can just jump right in.
Well, I know down here at Penrose, what we did was we did put flyers out. And like I said, initially, we had it set up where we had to vote for what mural we wanted. And when the community came out to that event, we were told like what the process would be. So when we saw them painting and when we saw them hosting other events, we just showed up. I know that's how we did it. It was put in our community center.
And Susan, were you going to say something?
Yeah, for the Dominant of Rut, we had a couple dinners, like 4 nights. We had dinners, meet and greets. We put out flyers, and we just encouraged the community to come out and be a part of. And people showed up, and people were enthused about taking their pictures, and everybody thought their picture was going to be on the wall, but when they saw that they weren't on the wall, it was fine so long as they saw somebody that they knew. So now we have like tours, people coming around the community just to see the walls. So it's real exciting.
We just have comments coming in here too about loving the multi-generational aspect of the murals.
Yes.
Did anyone in the community help in the painting or installation of the murals?
I'll jump in on that. You know, we have to take a moment to recognize that the fabrication of murals is happening during a lockdown and pandemic. So unfortunately, we had to be very careful about our interactions and spacing and social distancing and so on. However, on Norris Street, we were blessed because we had young people that lived down the block showing up every day to volunteer. And one young woman in particular ended up working with us as an assistant and is now a full-time assistant with Mural Arts. So yeah, we did have to be very mindful and careful when folks showed up to help.
Mm-hmm.
But there was such an outpouring and willingness to be part of the process. And again, I count it as a tremendous blessing that we were able to hire one of the local folks, young lady that lived down the block, and it was her first mural project. She's extremely talented, and she has found her gift, and she has continued on with mural arts. So that's a byproduct blessing.
Yes.
I know once again down here at Susquehanna, one night I did take my little daughter, and I think I did have the little baby that was in the picture with me. And my little daughter, because I wanted to take pictures because I was saying they're doing such a wonderful job. So I was taking pictures, and while I was doing that, she was able to help paint a little bit. While they were painting, they allowed her to paint. I think we was like a butterfly or something on a mural.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I thought that, but you know what? I really wish that the community would have came out just a little bit more to be more involved, and it probably would have been a lot more kids if they knew that they could participate. But sometimes we just get scared and don't know, get intimidated. But I'm glad that she was able to participate because she is a little artist herself.
Great, and we do know that the APM Street team also distributed flyers for all of the events to let the community know that they were happening. And I have asked Maya Curtis to pop on camera, who was one of the project managers for this specific project, because this next question can, I think, only be answered by you. What kinds of challenges, positive collaborations, and did you encounter with the transportation department and getting permissions, doing site assessments, etc., in selecting and getting approval for the site? A lot.
So SEPTA is the owner of the walls that we worked on, and they have been extremely involved from the beginning of this project, from reviewing what materials that we were going to be using, to just any sort of technical support. So they were a crucial partner throughout the entire project, and were involved in the design selection, and were, you know, as Patrick had mentioned, this project was happening right as, you know, things were with the pandemic were you know, really bad at the beginning of the summer. So they were, you know, really big advocates for making sure that, you know, all our safety protocols were in line. And, you know, just we really kept communication as best we could with them throughout the project, with, you know, weekly check-ins and updates about the projects and photos. And it was great to partner with them, and really wonderful to see these underpasses come to light. Hope I answered everything. If I forgot a part, you can.
That seemed very thorough to me. Thank you. And now we are getting a couple of questions about seeing more of the pictures of the murals and all of that. And I do want to point out that we are installing a self-guided tour where you will be able to get special videos of the artists really going in depth about their work that are going to be installed before Thanksgiving. So give us a follow on social media so you know when that is up and running. But at this time, we have released the video of the project itself today on social media, and I would be happy to share that with all of you now. So let me just get to this and share my screen.
Victoria,
Yes.
I see a question from Jane in the chat. And
Oh,
I can
That's
speak
right.
to that for a minute.
go right ahead.
Okay, you know, the urban environment is so standardized, and it seems like in the built environment, the only formal voices we get to appreciate are those of urban planners and engineers, and those are necessary contributors to the urban environment. But I think public art is absolutely necessary to provide texture, color, an unexpected instance in this standardized environment that seems to go on and on and on, and we all get inured to it. And yet when you come across an amazing mural or an amazing piece of public art, it kind of wakes you up. And then if you put the layer of community engagement on it, the community can actually feel some agency in their own community. Like they might own the wall or own the street, or they can feel like involved instead of having the overlord of the urban planner. I'm not putting urban planners down, but I'm just saying the standardized environment can be a killer, an absolute killer. Speaking as someone who's lived in New York City for 45 years, I'll tell you, we have to have public art. It'll keep us psychologically balanced, you know, as we deal with the urban environment. Thank you.
Thank you. And would would any of the other artists like to touch on the importance of public art in the city?
I agree with Andrea. I think that public art is very, very important in the community. I know that growing up, you know, just seeing something very colorful on the walls really did help. Especially as a kid, like walking down the street, you know, you'll see like some of the murals that were just being put up, because I grew up in the 80s. So, you know, I saw like the Anti-Graffiti Network putting up, you know, some of the paintings, and you know, it did boister, you know, confidence, and inspired me. And I knew as a little kid, I wanted to do that someday. So here I am. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. At this time, I'm going to show all of you the video introducing the Viaduct project.
Andrea Legg from Legg Lewis Legg Public Art, and we're working here today on the rail line underpass enhancement project. The name of our mural is Diamonds in the Rough, inspired by the community's own description of itself. The community is very self-managed, and they're very proactive about taking care of each other and taking care of the wider community. They have a community building project, and there are 4 themes. There's spirituality, education, community itself, and home and family.
This project's all been about faith, faith in ourselves, faith in the weather, faith with our fellow artists. I probably have befriended several folks in the neighborhood thus far.
We actually got to talk and interact with the actual community here. Just lighting alone was a big factor, because for a very long time, under this viaduct was nothing but trash and darkness.
Before the mural, it's a space that was dark and foreboding. It was something that you would not want to spend time in. So what we wanted to do was transform that into more of a portal into another place. So we wanted to feel a sense of peace, a sense of harmony, a sense of compassion, and a sense of wonder.
I think for the first part of the community, it actually shows that the community is on an uprise, and I think that's the greatest aspect of all the programs in the city and what they're doing, especially in this community, because it allows the residents to come out their homes, enjoy the areas and, you know, just experience a different type of quality of living.
Today, I'm really happy to see what has manifested, what has been created. And as they say, where there's no vision, the people perish, but there is a vision that we see on these four corners.
So that video just left me wanting to go see them in real life. I gave you the small glimpses and the painting, but
there we go.
It definitely made
My
me
name
want
is
to see
Emily
more.
Pinkowitz. I'm the Interim Director of Public Programs.
At this time, I'd like to introduce Jane Golden, Executive Director of Mural Arts.
Hi again, everyone. Oh, this was so inspiring. Not only should we all go down there, but we have to just do more. And I think that's why I asked the question, because there are always, it seems, looming budget cuts, and there were last year, and there are more and more and more. And how do we think about art? How do we think about the role that art plays in our lives? And I think that this is a case study on why it's important and vital and significant. And I think that I would love to put together a group from this sort of everyone involved in this endeavor, and maybe do a presentation to City Council. Or I think that there has to be a way to promote this so that more people are aware of it, because this was an extraordinary, extraordinary project. And I just feel so proud and thankful. I want to thank the artists, Josh Titus, Patrick Dower, Anthony Torcasio, Priscilla Bell, Andrea Legge. Thank you. Thank you, John Noble and Sean Theodore. To the community members, Susan, George, and so many of you. Susan, I want to say, you asked about a mural on the rec center. The answer is yes. We will figure out a way to do it. So just reach out to us, because we never like to say no. We specialize in that. Someone said that we pull rabbits out of a hat for a living, and I thought that was such a great compliment. I want to thank the funders, and I'm glad that someone asked the question about SEPTA, because SEPTA has been really fantastic, and I just want to thank them a lot. And to the 8th and Diamond Recreation Center, you are awesome. And APM, it was really, so many people came together to make this happen. And again, DHDC, Melissa Long, Mark Dodds, and Portia Egan, the HUD Choice Neighborhoods folks, Christina, Pamela, and Lucy. I want to thank, again, the community partners, and also Norris Homes and Penrose Recreation Center. Thank you very much. That's Ethan Diamond, EPM again, our management team. So we worked on this a long time. And to do it right means you have to be extraordinarily thoughtful about everything. You have to look at this from every angle, because really the work, if we're using the phrase public art, it's about a collaboration between the artists and the community, truly one done with integrity, which means we have to value the authorship, lift up the authorship in that community. It is not about us coming in and doing something. That's a failure. That doesn't work. That's art that's parachuted down from the sky. To me, that's not public art. So in order to do it right means you have to do it with a lot of thought and sensitivity and respect. And so I want to thank Kathy Harris, first and foremost. She was in on this in the beginning, and she was a long distance runner and put in the time, and I thank her very much. I want to thank Maya Curtis, again, another long distance runner, and Todd Bressie. Together, they were a great trio, and really, any obstacle that came up, and of course there are many when you're doing this kind of work, there's an obstacle a day, you have to be undaunted and resilient and resourceful. And you can't hear no. If someone says no, you have to think, I'm going to go left, I'm going to go right, I'm going to go around it, because the end game is to create beauty in public space where people feel engaged and connected. That is the goal, and nothing can stand in our way. Absolutely not. The world is frayed and divided, and what we want to do is do work that underscores our distinction, our differences, our diversity, but underscores a commonality that is absolutely wonderful and magical. And that is exactly what you heard tonight. And that is what drives us at Mural Arts to keep going and making sure that we lift up community members and lift up artists and shine a bright light on them and let the world know that they are change agents and they are working in service of the greater good, which is a healthier, more beautiful city. It is what we all want, and we can do it. And this project is emblematic of the kind of success that we want. So thank you all so much, and let's just do more art. Yay! And Victoria, thank you.
You are welcome, Jane. Thank you all for joining us this evening. And as a reminder, keep an eye on our social media so you can find out when the self-guided tour is available. And we hope to see you all soon for more behind-the-scenes mural arts events.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you,
Thank you,
wonderful
George.
artists and community people. We love you.
Thank you.
Susan.
Love y'all. Bye-bye.
Love you. Take care.